All right, now it's time to head up to Lake of the Woods to check in with Joe Henry from Lake of the Woods Tourism. Joe, fall, it's not quite officially here yet, but you walk outside and it sure feels like fall. That means the Rainy River is starting to get more active, isn't it?
It is. And, I don't know who officially determines fall, but, in my book, it's Mother Nature. And, we've been having temps, in the 30s at night, some 30s. And we've been having daytime temps that are cooler. The water temp on the lake has gotten down to the mid-60s, and it's only going to start going down even more. So, and I'll tell you, we also see some other patterns. We're starting to see some of the pinheads in the river, which are the small emerald shiners. And, I was up running a boat last week with some veterans, foursome veterans, and, noticed there is 8 boats fishing a 4 Mile Bay. I saw a walleye caught out from the Wheeler's Point access by somebody fishing the river. So, and I know on a windy day, there were some charter boats in the river that actually did quite well. So things are starting. I'm not saying they're in full-fledged yet, but they certainly are starting. And, that whole process, that whole ecosystem we talk about with walleye movements, the walleyes are starting to stage already down on the south end of the lake in different spots, certainly in front of the mouth of the Rainy River, Brett. And it's just a cool time. I'll tell you this much. Mark my words. Right now, things are happening. We're going to hear in a couple weeks, we're going to hear, hey, 2 weeks ago, we smoked the walleyes on the Rainy River. Nobody was out there fishing. It happens every year.
And then the Rainy River will get real busy.
Yeah. Well, and, in the fall, busy is not like the spring busy, because in the spring when it gets busy, there's only a couple accesses open because of the ice constricts people to a small area. And, in the fall, it never really gets real bad. I mean, you get a few boats here and there, but, you really can have a good part of the river all to yourself. Brett, it's interesting, too, because when you go from the mouth of the Rainy River all the way to Birchdale, which is all navigable water. For those of you who don't know the river, Birchdale, the river goes, 12 miles to Baudette from the mouth, and then it turns and goes straight east. And that goes another 30 miles to Birchdale. So 42 miles of navigable Rainy River, which, in the fall, we get walleyes through the whole stretch of it.
Do people mostly anchor up and jig in the fall, or will they pull cranks, or what do they do?
Well, they do everything, but certainly the majority of anglers are going to find a good, good break, a current break, or maybe a break off a shoreline, and they're going to anchor up and use, jigs pertinent to the speed of the current. Usually anywhere from a quarter ounce to 1 ounce, depending upon how much water is flying through the dam up in I Falls, and what they'll do is they'll put on different minnows, but really those frozen shiners, the emerald shiners, if you can't get the live ones, which we don't have right now, the frozen emerald shiners, Brett. And, we've talked about how to hook those on a jig. I mean, if you take that jig and you put it through the mouth of the shiner, out the gill, and push that shiner all the way up to the jig head, and then hook that jig back through the body of the shiner. Now you have that jig hook about halfway back on that shiner versus just in the mouth. That's one technique to catch more walleyes. Another technique is to use a stinger hook. And when you use a stinger hook, that's just a short piece of line with a small treble. Boy, you can hook that minnow through the lips with a jig, and then you can put that stinger hook just in front of the tail, so that when a walleye bites that thing, you're going to get a hook set no matter what happens.
Well, if people want to come up there this fall, maybe try to get in a cast and blast for rough grouse or ducks or geese, and then go after some of those walleyes too, where can they find out for some more information, Joe?
You know what? Hey, our Facebook page at Lake of the Woods Tourism is a great resource. Otherwise, just check out our website, and that's lakeofthewoodsmn.com.
This has been the Finding Fins Fishing Podcast, part of the Sporting Journal Radio family. Subscribe wherever you get podcasts, or go to findingfins.com and make sure to like our sponsors.
As we all navigate through the tough times of 2020, finding new ways to enjoy summer has become a way of life. If you're searching for the perfect getaway this summer, look no further than the walleye capital of the world, Lake of the Woods. Fish the Rainy River, Big Traverse Bay, and don't forget you can still experience the uniqueness of the Northwest Angle. For your best chance to catch big fish, go where the big fish are. Lake of the Woods. Plan your trip at lakeofthewoodsmn.com.